All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll let the other stragglers come in as they go. We are recording, so we will have this available. So if there's anybody else on your team as well that would like to know, we will be offering this at least one more time live, and then we'll make it available on demand for folks to view and things like that. So good morning. Happy Monday, and the Monday of Easter week. So we know things are crazy this week in your ministries. So thank you for spending a few minutes with us. My name is Josh Henry. I am the head of bookkeeping services here at ACS Technologies. And so we are here to partner with your church and make this whole job hopefully easier for you. That's our goal at the end of the day. Now, it's debatable on how that comes and everything, but what we want to talk about today is a new item that's coming very quickly. It will be a little bit of a shift for everybody here and how you get information to us. So let me just kind of take a step back real quick. Sarah, if I'm doing this wrong, you just tell me to shut up. But
you're good.
I'm going to take one brief step back. I started a company called Simplified Church 20 years ago. I was a pastor before I started the company, and I saw this side of church being that area that most churches did not have it figured out, had it going well. It's kind of the wild, wild west. I was telling Michael earlier today that there's not really a how-to book on how to do church accounting. And if you talk to 5 CPAs, you're probably going to get 10 different opinions on how to do it. And so what we want to do, we were originally designed as a pilot project with the Illinois State Baptist Association, where our original design, we were going to partner with church planters and do their bookkeeping for them. So pastors that were just starting new churches, where pastor was kind of it, and everything of the church fell on his plate. So moving forward, fast forward 20 years now, back in October of 24, we were acquired by ACS Technologies to bring our concept in and help to manage the bookkeeping services that you guys are all a part of. And so at that time, we had a tool we called the portal. And the original version of I just found a need that we needed a better way to get information from our church partners, better than a shared email address, better than just a Google Drive folder that everything just kind of got put into. Obviously, you understand that there's a chance it could get missed, oversight. Somebody moves it to the wrong place at the wrong time, all those things. So we wanted to build a comprehensive tool that really originally worked as a communication process. Just how do you as a church get information to us and vice versa? Well, now fast forward, we have now launched what we're calling Portal Next. Which is the latest and greatest. Believe it or not, it's version 5 of the portal. The very first version I built myself. I am not a coder, but I taught myself and I built it. And then versions 2 through 4, we had professionals build once it really got beyond my expertise level. But now we're excited to bring version 5, which is even more a bigger step forward in what it's able to do. But now the most rudimentary side of things, what is this? Why are we here? What does this look like for you on a day in and day out basis? It will become a replacement for what was formerly known as the BK app, that SharePoint server that you all use to upload folders right into the file and download things. We have the same functionality at that basic form available in the portal, but it also comes with a lot more. And so that's kind of why we're here. We wanted to introduce the portal, show you what it can do, show you also some things on the horizon. You'll get a sneak peek into some of the features that we're planning ahead of time, where really the portal becomes the source of all things. It may even have a name change coming, and it's probably going to be the hub, because it will probably be that source of all that we do in our relationship with you. So I could talk all day. I'm gonna be quiet, step back, and let Sarah take this and just kind of show you everything that the portal can do and how this will function for you on a day-to-day basis moving forward. So Sarah, it is all yours.
Hey, everybody. I am Sarah Soley. I'm the bookkeeping services coordinator here with Simplified Church ACST. Some of you I may know or may have had some communication with, but for those that I haven't ever met, it's nice to meet you. I'm going to start off, I'm going to share my screen real fast here. And I'm going to start off just kind of with what is Portal before we jump into the demo. So we'll get into the actual how do you use Portal here very shortly, but I wanted to start with kind of what is it? Josh has kind of alluded to some of it, but just so that you can understand, what do we use it for? Where is it going? Where are we heading with it? And how can it benefit you? So here we are. What is Portal? Oh, hang on. There we go. It's as Josh said, kind of a central hub for transaction communication. So where you guys are using the SharePoint app now to upload receipts and reports and things, statements, Portal is used for that now. So it's a central hub for your transaction communication. You can submit expenses, so it can be credit card expenses. You can enter deposits if you need to do that. If you're not using an ACS product for deposits, you can use Portal for that as well. You can upload receipts, so you can attach your receipt records to transactions so that everything is kind of nice and neatly tied together. You can upload documents, so your bank statements, if you have anything that your bookkeeper might request, maybe you have some new payroll stuff going on, there is a secure way to upload files in the portal. You can communicate with your bookkeeper. We'll get into all of these a little bit more technically here in just a second, but there is a way to communicate directly with your bookkeeper just with one touch of a button so that you don't have to go out of the portal. You can just kind of do it right there. And then you can also track the status of the request. So let's say that you've submitted a transaction and you want to know, has your bookkeeper entered that into Realm or ACS yet? You would be able to see where the status falls versus maybe when you upload into the BK app, it just kind of goes into digital world and you can't find it again. So those are some of the basics of what Portal is. And Josh kind of talked a little bit about this. Why does Portal exist? Really to simplify communication, to make it so that it's clear. We're communicating between yourselves and your bookkeeper. You've got some clear communication on what needs to be done. And we don't have to go back and forth with emails on, oh, I can't read that GL code, or, could you explain this a little bit better to me? It just makes it a lot more simple and clear, eliminating some of that back and forth that sometimes happens. Portal also gives you searchable records. So you enter a deposit or you enter an expense and you want to know, it could be from a year ago. You can now search in Portal by date for that transaction instead of having to go back through some of the files that were uploaded via the SharePoint app. And then, of course, this improves accuracy and efficiency when we do that. So we're able to see clearly what needs to be done, makes us more efficient, makes us have less errors on reports, and then also gets you your reports faster if we can do that. So why not SharePoint? SharePoint was a great tool, especially when ACS was getting bookkeeping services off the ground. There was nothing necessarily wrong with SharePoint. But as we move forward and we bring Portal into the equation, SharePoint becomes really just storage only, where Portal has a workflow and communication kind of built in with it. As we said, you can track the status of transactions. You can kind of transparency to see where things are at in the process. And you can search by transaction, which it's going to be a great tool. I think hopefully you guys will find useful. So how does Portal help you? So it's going to have less time explaining back and forth, like we talked about with your bookkeeper, fewer follow-ups about where things go. Nothing gets missed because we're able to see that it came in, it got completed, and now it's done, and easy access to your history. Key features. So like we talked about, so you can submit expenses, deposits, check requests. So when you need your bookkeeper to prep a check for you to print, we can do that in Portal. You can upload your receipts, keep those attached to transactions so you can always see them. You can track pending transactions. We'll get into this in a little bit more detail here in a second, but pending transactions are maybe you're sitting down, you've got a lap full of receipts, and most of them you know where they go, but you've got one or two that you might need to follow up with the user on. Like, I'm not sure, was this one supposed to be split to this, or did this go to children's, or what was this? You can go ahead and start that information, get that entered, but then if you need to leave it and save it and come back, you can go ask your question, come back, and it will be there for you so that you don't have to then hold that and, make sure that you don't lose it. Like the information will already be there. You can go ahead and upload that receipt via image as well, and it'll just stay there for you in pending status until it's ready and fully complete. You can message your bookkeeper and have the secure file upload. So all of this, again, we'll go through in detail. Searching is going to be great. You can search by vendor, date, amount, account, whatever it is. If you're looking for a transaction, if you remember that it happened, you'll be able to find it in Portal. You don't have to go digging through folders or ask your bookkeeper, hey, did I upload the receipt for, the gas payment this month? You'll be able to search for that and know if you did it or not. And then you can find things very quickly. Reporting. So Portal does have some reporting capabilities, basic financials insights, but I will say you will want to rely on your reports from your bookkeeper out of ACS or Realm. We don't reconcile to Portal, but it does have some reporting capabilities within Portal. So it is only as good as the transactions that get entered. So what that means is the more you use Portal, the more that reporting will be beneficial to you. But it has your basic things like income reports, income versus expense. There's some budget reporting in there. But the more you're able to use Portal, the more those will be beneficial to you. Where we're heading. So like as Josh said, we've just had a pretty big overhaul of Portal. So Portal Next is the newest version. It is taking off. There's, as you guys are probably aware, the tech industry is going crazy right now. And so there's a lot of neat things that we can do to make our jobs easier, your jobs easier, make things more efficient, make things more intuitive. And so we're always looking at how we can make improvements. So with that is going to come some automation. So Portal will have an ability to, let's say that you always put the gas payment to the utilities line. Anytime you type in that payee in Portal, it will automatically pop in that expense line. So we'll be working on the behind the scenes to get things like that to happen. Same thing with some of the smart tools. So AI receipt capture. So you can take a picture of a receipt and it will read the amount, the vendor, the bank account that this came to, the date of the transaction, just about everything that you would need to give us, aside from you'll have to tell us where it goes. So same with writing the GL on the receipt, you would just digitally choose that GL from your dropdown, but everything else will be filled out for you so that it takes a lot of that data entry off of you. That is a feature that was hoping was going to be done for this meeting today, but it will probably be later this week. So it's coming very, very soon. So just keep that in mind as we go through the actual tutorial. But we will have updates and things coming often, and we'll communicate those out to you guys so that you know how to use the portal even better. And let's go ahead and jump into the demo. But before I do that, does anybody have any questions before we jump into seeing Portal and how it's used? Okay, so here is what your Portal dashboard will look like. When you log into Portal, this is what you're going to see. Hopefully you guys, in the email that your bookkeeper sent you, there should have been a video that you can also reference, but this will kind of walk through the same things, but we'll pause for some questions in case anybody has any. So this is what you'll see every time you log in. This is your dashboard. And if you've watched the video, you'll see there's some easy ways to enter transactions, quick actions up here. We have organizational links. So this is a great place to put your church's website. You might want to put your ACS billing portal here, anything that you might want to have access to when you're working in Portal. Anything that you want to have access to, or maybe your bookkeeper may need to have access to. We can put the links right here so that you don't have to go out and search for it separately. You can just click on the link. Down here is where we have, this is where you can see a snapshot of the status of any of your transactions. So here's the pending. So pending transactions are going to be ones that, like I said, you've started, but you had to fill in some more information for. So if we maybe pull one of these up, This transaction looks like it doesn't have the expense line breakdown. So it's not going to be submitted to your bookkeeper until it's all the way filled out. But if you needed to, you'd started this one, it's an ACS Technologies payment, but you needed to get some clarification on something, it would stay there in your pending status. And then once for you to come back to, then you just edit it, add the expense line detail, and then send it on its way to your bookkeeper. If we go back here to the dashboard, open transactions right here, these are transactions that your bookkeeper will see. So that means that these transactions are fully balanced. We know exactly where they go, and they're waiting for your bookkeeper to enter. So you'll likely not see things in open for very long. Our bookkeepers try to keep this portal cleared every 24 hours. So every day they're clearing out transactions and making sure things get updated into the system. So you likely won't see things hanging out there for very long. But if you do, you can always ask your bookkeeper, hey, is there a problem with that transaction? Do you need me to do something? But they're pretty on top of it, and they'll probably reach out to you first if they need something. On hold, you likely won't see things here without knowing about it. That's where your bookkeeper, if they do have a question, will say, I'm going to put this on hold, and then they might email you and say, I see that maybe I see the gas payment, it went to children's. Did you mean for that to go to the utilities line? It may be something like that. So where it may be balanced and be able to be submitted, they may have a question and put that on hold for you for some clarification. So that's what you'll see in these 3 buckets here. And then down below right now, there's just some basic metrics. There will be some other metrics coming. And again, this is only as good as the information that's in Portal. So it may not reflect exactly all the income and expenses that would be in Realm or ACS, but it will be whatever's in Portal. We will be doing some updates to some of these metrics and kind of finding out from you guys what's helpful to see down here as well. Things that would make it beneficial when you're working in your account. What do you want to see right here? So those are some of those new features that will be coming too. Okay, so I won't go through each of the transaction types. I think it's pretty intuitive. It's pretty self-explanatory, but there are a couple of ways to enter transactions. So you can do them right here from these quick action buttons, or if you're on the transactions tab, you can enter a new transaction here. So if whichever screen you're on, there is a way to enter new transactions. From here, if you do it this way, you would choose the type. So deposit, expense, request check, or record check. If you did one of the quick action buttons, it's going to take you directly to that type. So you don't have to choose it. I will go over, like I said, expenses are going to be any ACH payments, credit card payments, any type of expense that's not a check. We'll go just through the create expense. Deposits are going to be deposits. Now there are a couple of options. Portal does have a capability to track contributors, so for contribution statements. And so we have some of our partners that do that. So those would be entering by contributor. If you're just letting your bookkeeper know about a deposit that's maybe not in your online giving platform, or there's some other deposit that you need to let them know about, you could do without contributors. And if you did that, you would just do the date, you pick your bank, you say if it's an online gift or not. You could say it's $50. Let's say there's 2 lines for it. And you don't have to enter anything here. If you just went on, you would add your line detail separately. But if you do know you're going to split this deposit into 2, you could go ahead and do that here. Then you would allocate. And so let's just say that this total is 50, but let's say that $25 was missions. And you can see up here, you've got a little bar that kind of tells you how much more you have left to go. Optional description, if you wanted to say if that was for a specific mission project or missionary. Then we go down to line 2, we do the rest of it, $25. Let's say that was tithes and offerings. Then we would go, the next step is review. And here you're just going to double check, make sure that those are where you want those deposits to go. And then you would go ahead and create deposit. And once you do that, you'll see that I have this filtered for pending, but it will be in your open transaction. So right there is that deposit that I just entered. So then you can then see all of your open transactions that are ready for your bookkeeper. Let's go. Any questions yet? I'm going to move on to one more transaction type. So request check and record check. I do want to just kind of talk about the difference of these two. Request check means this is a check that you need prepared for you to print. So it's not something that has already happened. It hasn't already been written. You're telling your bookkeeper, I need you to prep this check so that I can print it. Record check, on the other hand, that's for in-house checks. So you have a church checkbook, somebody wrote a check, it's got a check number already. You're going to use record check for that. And that you will give us the check number. That helps us when we're reconciling. We've already recorded that check. We know what check number it is, all that good stuff. So that's the two differences there. I will pause real quick and let you know that we're working on a way for us to be able to print and mail checks for you. So quick show of hands, how many people would be interested in being totally hands-off and saying, could you I'm going to submit this check request and I want you to print and mail it for me so that I don't have to go in and print it. Okay, great. Yes. Is this a raised hand like, yes, you're interested, or do you have a question? Okay. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I think it is something that we offer for some of our legacy partners that we brought over with us. We haven't had a way to do that with Realm and ACS churches just yet, but it is something we're working towards. We know that a lot of our partners are interested in that service. So that would be coming soon. And in that case, you would still use request check, but instead of going in and printing it yourself, we would print and mail for you. So that is one of the features that will be coming soon. So if you did, let's go, I won't go through all the steps, but I will show you with record a check, there's a spot for check number. And then if it was just a requested check, there's not a spot for the check number. One thing for our Realm Accounting churches, anybody here, give me a show of hands if you're Realm Accounting. Okay. So for our Realm Accounting churches, and I guess ACS, this may apply to, but there is a Realm Fund option. So if you're set up as a Realm Accounting church, if you have multiple ledger funds, you can choose that here too. Trying to reduce the amount of things that your bookkeeper may have to ask you about. So you can say, if you've got a ledger fund for the church, ledger fund for the school, you can tell us about that when you enter those transactions. Down here, I will also note on every transaction type, there is an upload file section. So when you first go to enter a transaction, this is where you would choose the receipt that you're going to upload, or the invoice or whatever it was. So you would do that right here. This is where, once we get that AI receipt capture, you could just upload the file and it will auto-populate with as much information as it can read off of that invoice or receipt so that you don't have to enter that in manually. Okay, any questions on transactions? As you guys start using this, if you have questions, I'll say this probably a couple more times, reach out to me, reach out to your bookkeeper if you have questions. We're all here to help, and we want to make this easy. So if you need anything, if you're not sure how to do something, if it's not working how you think it should, shoot us a note and let us know. Okay, so we've gone over submitting transactions. Uploading receipts is within the transaction itself, but there's also this file section. This is where you can upload bank statements. This is your secure file upload area. So you can upload files for your bookkeeper to see using this upload file section right here. You can either drag and drop, or you can click here to browse anything that you've got on your computer to upload. And then in the same way, your bookkeeper can also put things here for you. So they could put reports here for you. They could, if you've got any communication, any secure files, anything that has any, confidential data or anything, it can all go here without going through email. It is a secure area. So if your bookkeeper puts something in here, you'll get an email just to notify you that you have a new file, which is a nice feature. And then they will also know if you guys have put something in for them. Right now, we use the tag feature instead of folders, but they look like folders. But it's more of a way that you can tag them so that you can see them in multiple places, which is kind of nice. So you can see here, we've got a tag for February reports. We've got a tag for all reports. So if you wanted all your reports in one section, but then you want to parse them out by month, you can have 2 tags and they'll show in both places. And then we've also got, when something comes in, it's going to be uncategorized, and then you'll have to tag it. So your bookkeeper will likely be the one to tag. So they'll be able to know if it's a report, or if it's a statement, if it's a payroll report. And so you can work with your bookkeeper on the tags that are needed, and how you guys want to view those. The active this is going to be the newly uploaded files. Archived is going to be so that this doesn't get bulky and messy. Archived will move them over. Your bookkeeper will move them to archived. You can still access them, view them, all of that in the archive section, but the active is really meant for the things that you need to see that are new. So that's kind of how you'll use the file section. Any questions on file upload? Okay. I can walk through all of these. I think in the interest of time, I want to make sure I leave time for some questions too. I will just go through organization. This is where you're going to see all of your church's organization information. So it's going to have your church's name, it'll have your site ID, it'll have your fiscal year, all of these things, just from when we get you set up into Portal. Your address is the next little section here. So if your address ever changes, or you want to add an extra address, maybe you've got a PO box and an address, you can do that here. And then down below, this is where we track all of your, so if you've got bank accounts, if you open a new credit card, this is where we'll add that. If you change bank accounts, we'll update that here. Budgets, this is where there's this one place you can also access budgets over here on the left, same thing. But this is where you'll be able to see prior year budgets and your active budget. You can view them to see, where things are at. We do have a little bit of budget versus actual, but again, only as good as what has been put into Portal. So from here, if you wanted to see how much did we put into communication and technology, or what transactions do we have logged there so far, you would just go to view, and you'd be able to see this is test data, so it doesn't always look the best. Unnamed transaction has been tagged to the communications and technology section. So if you had multiple things, they would all be listed here, so you could see what did we put into Portal in communications and technology so far. It would be all right here for you to see. And then back here, let's go back to organization. Here's your users. So if you needed to add a user, you'll likely have to have you may have to have your bookkeeper do it. There are certain roles that allow you to add a user, but if you can't, just reach out to your bookkeeper. They'll be happy to do it. If once you add a user, we just need their name and their email address. That user will get an email inviting them to set up their password, and we'll get them all set up into Portal. And then the links section. So here is where, if you did want to add your Facebook page or your church's website, you would add a link right here. You'd select which type it is. Let's say that it's just the website. You would copy and paste your URL right here. What do you want it to say? That's however you want it to display is what you'd put right here. You can do colors if you really feel like it. You can, which order do you want it to be? The first thing you see, the second thing you see, all of that, and then create link, and it will show up there then on your dashboard. And then I'll just kind of quickly, I'm not going to open all these reports, but this is where you can see the types of reports that can be available to you. Metrics, we'll be building that one out here soon, a little bit more. And then release notes, if you ever do want to know what did we update most recently, every time we have an update to Portal, it's all right here. It's a little bit development jargony, but you can at least kind of see what has been done. And then on that note, this blue button right here with the question mark, this is where you can report, oh, there it goes. If there's a bug, let's say something that used to work stops working. This is where you can let us know about that. So you would say something isn't working, give us a brief title, give us some description. It's going to automatically include a screenshot of where you're at. So we can see all of that data. We know what kind of browser you're using. We know like all of those things. That really helps our development team to know how to get to that bug faster and be able to fix it. So this is how you would say if there's a bug. You could also say, you know, I'm on this screen and it would be really nice if I could just do this, if I could just tab through, or if I could, you know, those are the kinds of feedback that we get. Like if I could just tab through, if I could have something auto-populate right here. That's where you can let us know any of these great ideas that you have as a user. We really want to know, how can we make this easier for you? So if you have an idea, same thing, have an idea, brief description and title. And then the last thing is ask my bookkeeper. So this is where you're working in Portal, you have a question about a transaction, you can go ask my bookkeeper, and then you can type out your question right here. It's going to go right to your bookkeeper through email. And it will be attached to whatever email you sign up to Portal with. So when they reply to you, it's going to go to that email. So you can at least get the conversation started when you have a question right here. So you don't have to go to my email, take a screenshot of what I'm looking at, and then ask the question. It's all right here for you. So you can just do it right there. Okay, any questions right now? Yes, Kim. Yeah, you're muted. Let me see if I'm able to unmute you. I don't think I can. Do you see down at the bottom of your screen there, to the left, there's like a microphone.
Oh, there. Okay. I was trying my laptop mute. Sorry about that.
Oh,
I just have a quick question. Thank you.
Sure.
You were talking about the access to the portal.
Mhm.
So are there different roles that could have different access? For example, me, I might just want view access where other people will want to be able to make changes.
yeah.
Or
So
upload.
we do have some roles currently. We are actually working through those now because there are some, let's say for reporting even, you may not want to have everybody that has access to Portal see payroll documents. So, so we're working on some of those things. Those will be new updates that will be coming soon, but there are some roles. So there's, you know, you could have access to everything, or you can have access if you are just entering deposits and you don't need to see contributor info, or you don't need to see necessarily contributor information later, but you just need to enter. You can do that. We do have like a pastor role. So like sometimes they don't want to see who gave what, but they want to be able to see the basics of income. So like that's a role. And so we're working on kind of tying those things down to what most of our users need. So if you have feedback on that, that's a great blue button thing to say, I have an idea. I need a role that only shows this.
Or read versus write access as well. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, we have St. Paul's. That's what it comes up as. I'm not sure who is behind that screen with your hand up. And then you will have to unmute yourself if you have a question.
I think they put their hand up earlier.
Okay.
Sarah, I don't know that it was a question.
Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else have a question? Okay. We are planning for April 13th is kind of the date that they've given us that they want BK app to kind of fade out. So that gives us about 2 weeks, which is why we wanted, I know it's kind of a busy week this week, but we wanted to make sure that we had this webinar early enough to give you some time to start using the portal. Again, as you have have questions as you start using it, let us know. Start with your bookkeeper, but you can always reach out to me as well. If you have questions on how to do things or something is not fitting for you. Maybe there's something that you did in the SharePoint VK app that we didn't think about and we missed it. So if that's the case, let us know. But you should have, between the file upload and then the transaction entry, you should have pretty much everything that you would have had in the VK app. Okay, I'm gonna stick around if anybody has a question. If you want to wait till there's less people in the room, I'll be here. If you don't have any questions, you are free to go. It was great to see you. Great to put names and faces together. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if this will just apply to us, which is why I didn't ask
Sure.
before you were dismissed. So we have a number of people at our church, which I'm sure makes life interesting for Kathy. We have a number of people with hands in our financial processes. I'm just wondering, something that's been on my mind, like we have a credit card that takes care of almost all of our purchases. So hopefully that streamlines that piece. But for, there's several bills that we have monthly or just random ones that we have to pay by check. Do I need to, and at the risk of sounding ignorant and something like I should have been doing all along, is this where I would upload a receipt for those expenses, which we haven't been doing? I have a hard copy of those receipts right now. And right now I upload a check request. Kathy puts it in the system. I print it out, and then I keep a copy of that, a hard copy of that check and that check request and the receipt. Can I just do that just in this portal now? Or sorry, whatever this is called now.
Yeah, it's portal for now. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's exactly what you would do. So you would, and if you don't need, unless you want to see the invoice on the transaction in portal, if you want to keep that hard copy yourself, you can do that. There's no, it's not required. Okay, yeah, then absolutely. Yep, upload it right here. It will not necessarily make its way over to Realm. It'll be in portal. That's kind of, we can guarantee that you'll have it in portal for sure. But yeah, you would just upload that invoice, and hopefully once we get that AI going too, that'll save you even more time, because what will ideally happen is you upload that invoice and it's going to recognize the payee, the amount, the date of the transaction, all of that stuff for you. So you don't have to enter that in. And then one day also maybe know that it always goes to the utility line, or it always goes to, whichever.
And would that be true for things that are on auto payment directly from our bank account?
So auto pays, if they are things that you don't normally already need to communicate. So like if it's, I'm just gonna keep using utilities as an example. If it's always the same, you don't have to put that in portal. If Kathy knows where that goes and you trust that she's gonna get that in the right place, you don't have to report it. And if she's got it as a recurring transaction already set up, you don't have to report it. Portal is best used right now for things that are like that we would have to ask you about. So Amazon charges, Walmart charges, things that could be anything, credit card payments. If you split out the credit card payments, you can do all that right here too. So if you're one that splits out the payment to different lines, that can all be done in here, and then we can take that information and put that into Realm.
Okay. I was trying to figure out, in terms of receipt tracking, Kathy, would it help for me to put receipts in here for things like those, recurring payments to ACS, for example, or our insurance payment comes directly out of our bank account. I'm trying to figure out how to consolidate that, all of those receipts and expenses for you. And is this where you would want that? Or
this is actually what I've learned so far, because I do have another church that is very active. And what they do is they actually use the portal as the place where they are storing everything. So when they actually send me like a check request or an expense or anything, it doesn't matter what it is, it's even deposits. They will actually attach every document. And then they don't have to worry about storing anything on their computer. Everything's in the portal. It never goes away. And so like if, say if they want to look at the utility bill last time, they want to make sure they want to just kind of just look at the bill itself. They can actually go in, they can, search by, the actual vendor.
Okay.
Losing track of thought, and basically just look at the bill there. I mean, it's a great tool to use just to actually have, just to be able to store your all of your paperwork in.
Mhm.
And it's always going to be there, but like your reoccurring type stuff, you don't necessarily need to, because you have a lot of reoccurring stuff that I actually, take care of without, asking you questions. Unless you want to. Now, if you want to, hey, that's wonderful.
Okay.
You can use that as a tool to be able to store all of your utility bills or all of your ACS payments, or
That's how I'm kind of looking at this, trying to figure out how we can like optimize this for our use, just to consolidate
Yes.
everything in one spot.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Yep.
That's
Lauren,
a great
I'm
question.
also available if you want a one-on-one. I'm doing one-on-ones with all of my churches, so I would be glad to send you a request and we'll connect and we'll do one-on-one.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. And on the one-on-one note, definitely reach out to your bookkeeper. They can walk you through this as well. But if you want me to sit down with, if you've got more users, maybe you're just representing, one of 5 users at your church and you want another round, we can absolutely set that up. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, again, I'm going to hang out. If you're free to go, unless you want to just keep talking, we can do that too. Bye, Kim. Bye, Susan.
Well, this was great.
Is anybody there at St. Paul Marietta?
Yes. Hey, about the first 15 minutes, what can you tell me?
Hang on, you broke up there for a second. Did you say you missed part of it?
Yeah, I missed the first, I didn't see the email until about 15 minutes, the first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we did a quick run through of Portal. Did you see any of that?
That's, I think, what I missed. Where is
Okay.
there's, use the camera. There we go. So there we go.
There we
Hey, I'm
go.
actually a person. Yeah, just, where will I find the portal?
So, I should have mentioned that actually. So we're in the process of getting all of the churches that were using the SharePoint BK app entered into Portal this week. And so as you get added, your bookkeeper will reach out to you and let you know, we'll find out which users need to be added from your church. And then everybody will get that invite email to be able to start using it.
Okay. Right now it's just me.
Okay.
I don't think there's any reason for our financial secretary that enters all he does is enter the contributions.
Okay.
I think it's just me that needs to be doing that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Well, we'll make sure that you get added. Again, your bookkeeper, as everybody gets added into Portal and it's fully set up, your bookkeeper will reach out and let you know that it's ready, and then see if there are any additional users. But if
Okay.
it's just you, that's fine.
And so basically it's just everything that we were using the SharePoint for,
Mhm.
we'll be using the portal for, and it'll
Yeah.
look different, feel different, but basically Not a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, it'll feel a little different at first, but we're trying to make it as I'm not sure which part you came in on. So
Yeah.
we're trying to make it a little bit a lot more user friendly so that you
Mhm.
don't have a lot of data entry to do. That's really where we're focusing is right now when you enter transactions, like you would still have to type in the amount and the pay, you could click and find the payee. So we've got some updates coming hopefully later this week even.
Because we don't even do that. I just
Yeah. Just up. So we're later this week, we're hoping that the release
Okay.
will come out that you can just take a picture or upload that receipt and it'll auto populate with all of that information from the receipt. And you just have to tell us the GL, but you would select that from a drop down instead
okay,
of writing
because she's I think the one doing all the data entry. Because I just
it. Okay.
what do I send her? If I need a check
Okay.
cut,
Yep.
I send her a check request. Basically everything I do is online banking.
Okay.
Um,
I'm going to share my screen again real fast and okay. So if you are normally just requesting checks via the SharePoint app, you would use this request check section.
okay.
Okay. So then you would put in for checks, it's going to most likely be today's date because that's when it's going to go out. We wouldn't backdate or anything, but then if description is optional, if you want to put something in there, but here's you just pick whatever the payee is. And so that's what's happening now is all of your payees are being loaded into Portal that exist in Realm or ACS. All of that stuff is getting loaded. So it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But we're getting everybody in. And then once everything is set up, then that's when you'll get the email. But you would just say, let's say it's ACS Technologies. It's this bank. You're going to say it's $50. If you are, if you have multiple ledger funds, are you Realm or ACS Financials?
Realm.
Okay. So if you're Realm Accounting, then, and let's say that do you have multiple ledger funds or do you just have one?
Yeah, one. Yeah, general budget, and then line items underneath.
Okay,
it.
perfect. So then yours would default to fund one.
Mhm.
And then this is where you could upload a file. If you had a receipt or an invoice, you would upload it there. Then you would go to moving on to add the details. And so you go add expense detail. You'd say that this was books and materials. You could optional these things and then add. And it'll show up green. And instead of being a big yellow box, it'll show up green and you'd hit submit transaction.
Okay.
And then that moves it into your bookkeeper's queue to enter in. And so they know that you need a check cut.
Okay. Yeah. And you had mentioned something about them mailing, but them being able to print a check.
Yeah, that's a feature that will be coming soon, where there will be an option so that if you didn't want to have to go back in and print and either print and mail it or print and hand it out, you could have the option to have us print and mail. So once you request that check, you're done. You don't have to think about it again.
Normally, I mean, that would throw off my check number count though.
Well, should all be in line. So we'll be keeping track so that everything stays in sync.
Okay, but I have pre-printed checks.
Oh, okay. Well, so then once that happens, we might start you with a different check series for the ones that are printed and mailed. And then that way you could keep those because there may be a time that you need to print in office. You need something really fast and you don't want it mailed. So we would probably just start a different series
Because my paychecks, we're not, we were never able to go to online banking because of our bank.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there is a way to do it. I just haven't taken time. We're like on our third accountant now.
Okay.
And she's the best, but I haven't gone through this with her. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. And that service, if you didn't want that, if you wanted to record a check, that's the other option. So like, let's say that you decided to print a check in-house. for yourself. That's this one right here. Record a check is if you printed one or if you had a physical checkbook and you physically wrote the check.
Yeah, because she creates a check and I print it.
Yeah.
And that won't necessarily have to change, will it?
It won't have to change. If that's your preferred workflow and you want to do it that way, that is totally fine, especially if it's like payroll and people are just coming in to get it.
Yeah, she's doing my payroll and I hand it out.
Yeah.
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 And then the only main other checks is our benevolence.
Okay.
So technically I mail them to the utilities, but if somebody's staying in a motel, then
Mhm.
they'll come pick it up.
I would say the print and mail service would come in play anywhere that you are having to print and take it and mail it. If you didn't want to have to do that and you wanted us to just take it for you and do it, we would be able to do that with
So
that
you just
service.
have some generic checks and it will populate with our information.
Yeah, so we use there's a secure software that has all of your churches. It would have your bank account information, all of the banking routing, account number, and it would just print on that check, so that it would look like what comes out. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all are always coming up with cool things.
Yeah, well, we are blessed to work with a really cool development team that they're way out in front of even us, and they're like we're lagging behind on what even they can do. And so it's exciting.
Can I ask a quick question?
I think I'm
Okay.
good. So
All right.
thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I was
All
just
right.
wondering if so like weekly I upload our deposit scans, right? That would be in here now, correct?
Well, technically your deposits are entered into Realm. And
If you're using the giving side, you would still continue to do that.
So right now we have somebody that enters all of those into Realm, but then I always upload to Kathy the scan of those checks and the cover sheet of that. Would I still need to do that? And if so, do I do it in here?
That's a great question, in my opinion. I think what you could do, I think what we use those is just to make sure, for checks and balances purposes, to make sure that they are the same as, that's recorded as far as the deposit that's on the bank statement itself. And so if you go to, and I can get into this with you, Lauren, when we meet, but if you go into like one of those areas where I think what I'm thinking like files. What do you think, Sarah? That we could put it like I could create a file.
If it's really just for like just for checking purposes, you could just use FileBox. But if you wanted to, one of the things that's also coming this week is a place to upload with deposits. So if you wanted to upload that document here and just put the total, like what's the bank account, what's the total, the number of line items, or if it's split. So like this is where you say this deposit is split up to, let's say it's 2 lines like we did in the example. I'm going to do all this stuff. Hang on.
Honestly, I think we would just, if it's really just for checks and balances purposes, like I was saying earlier, I'm just trying to figure out how I can best use this new tool to streamline everything. So I'm fine just scanning the file just so there's the hard
record.
copy
Okay.
record of it. Since it is being individually entered into Realm, if I understand correctly.
Yeah. And then Kathy can create a tag for whatever you guys want to call it, deposit uploads or whatever you want to call that file.
Yeah.
She can create a tag, deposit scan. Okay. So she can create a tag for that. And then you'll find all the deposit scans right there together.
Perfect. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I'm trying to figure out, Kathy, obviously I'm going to have, so Stephanie is who actually enters all of that. And most of today's webinar would be, I think, mostly for her in terms of where to put each thing and all of that. But I'm excited to have the recording so I can get that to her.
Yeah. Well, and I will say Kathy will be great at walking you guys through how Portal can be used for you guys. You know, like it is used, it's built for churches and the things that churches do, but if you guys have specific things, she will be great to kind of walk you guys through that.
Awesome. Which I'm sure Kathy's like, they have like 8,000 specific things.
Well, that's all right. We can adjust.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And so
Yes.
just to make sure I understand, I don't need to do anything with this new tool until we get an invite via email.
Yeah. Next step, you'll get an email that'll tell you it's ready, which it's probably maybe later today.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, ladies.
Okay. All right. Good to meet you.